Hi everyone, this is Jessica Burke Hensley. I've got a knitting tutorial for you today. I'm going to be knitting the way I knit. I knit left-handed, but it will look like it's right-handed. So for all of my left-handed friends, I will be telling you exactly what I'm doing left-handed, and for all my right-handed friends, you sit and you pick up the yarn in your right hand and do everything right-handed. You do everything opposite of what I'm saying. I tried doing this from a different angle and it was a disaster. So this is the only way I can do it. And hopefully everybody will be able to do this. They'll be able to understand what I'm doing. But first, before I do that, I'm going to show you some of the other scarves that I've made. This is the one, I made a gator out of the one that I was doing in the knit and chat. If you haven't watched that already, if you like channel messages, there's channel messages in there. It's a knit and chat with channel messages. So if you like spiritual talk, it might be the kind of video just for you. I'm knitting in there. But I knit this, and it was a 24-inch scarf, and I sewed it up and made it into a gator. And I think it came out pretty good. And I used Karen Jumbo Ombre Peacock Variegated, and the other one is Red Heart Super Saver Retro Stripes. And then I used Karen Jumbo Ombre Dalmatian, which is like a black and gray yarn. And then I used Super Saver Retro Stripes. Red Heart Super Saver Retro Stripes to make this one. I held those two yarns together. I used 19 stitches to make this one. So I used 19 stitches and knitted up. And then today, the swatch that I'm doing is Peacock Variegated and Pink Lemonade Red Heart Bitty Stripes. So I held those two yarns together and I used 21 stitches to make this. For the gator, I used 17 stitches and made this one. For the swatch today, we're using Karen Jumbo Ombre Peacock Variegated and Red Heart Super Saver Bitty Stripes Pink Lemonade to make the swatch. And we're going to do 11 stitches, and I'm going to be knitting the swatch on video for all of you. And then I will show you how to bind off. And yeah. And I think most of you know how to sew in tails. If you don't know how to do that, sewing in tails, like I'll tell you what that involves at the end. So you make a slip knot. Let me do that again. Use size 15 needles for this project and the two yarns held together, and I'm going to be showing you how to knit and purl. But first we have to make a slip knot, and then we have to knit the stitches onto the needle, because if you cast on with the long tail cast on, it's a little harder to get into the stitches if you're holding the two yarns together. So the right needle for left-handers and the left needle for right-handers, you put your working stitch on there, and insert the left needle into the right needle for left-handers, and for right-handers, put the right hand needle into the left hand needle. Now, I'm doing this left-handed, but it looks like I'm doing it right-handed because I'm mirroring you. Put the yarn over your index finger, then under your middle finger, then over your left hand ring finger, if you're left-handed, and put it under your pinky. If you're right-handed, put it over your right hand the same way. All right? Okay. So now we're going to start knitting. With the yarn behind the work, go over, put the yarn over the left-hand needle if you're left-handed, put it over the right-hand needle if you're right-handed. Take the right-hand needle and put it over the stitch, and then put the stitch onto the needle. Okay, so we're going to do that again. All right, I'm going to say it this way. Insert the empty needle into the needle with the stitches. So if you're left-handed, it's left to right. If you're right-handed, it's right to left. Put the yarn over your dominant hand with the yarn behind the work. Wrap the yarn over the empty needle that was just inserted into the needle with the stitches. Pull through, and then put that stitch onto the needle with the stitches. See that? I'm going to do that one more time. Insert the empty needle into the needle with the stitches. Wrap the yarn around the empty needle. Take the needle with the stitches and pull it over the loop. And then put the loop that you just made onto the needle with the stitches. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got to do 7 more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So we've got 11. All right. So here we go. We're going to start the first row. Technically, this is the first row, but the first row of the pattern, which is the seed stitch pattern, we're going to be knitting and purling. Knitting the odd stitches and purling the even stitches in order to get the pattern. And that you do that almost every row, except for the first row and the bind off row. The cast on row and the bind off row. You do just knitted. Alright, so we're going to knit the first stitch, and you don't put the stitch on the needle with the stitches, you put it on the empty needle. Then to purl, put the yarn in front of the work. Insert the needle with less stitches into the needle with more stitches. Wrap the yarn around, pull through, and then put it onto the empty needle, the needle with less stitches. Then we put the yarn behind the work. Insert the needle with less stitches into the needle with more stitches. Wrap the yarn around. Take the other needle and push it over the needle with less stitches, and you've got a stitch on there. Put the yarn in front. insert the needle with less stitches into the needle with more stitches, wrap the yarn around, move the needle down, put the stitch onto the needle with less stitches. And at some point it changes. Put the yarn behind the work, wrap the yarn around, and move the needle over the other needle and pull it through. Put the yarn in front, curl the stitch. The yarn behind, knit the stitch. Put the yarn in front, curl the stitch. Put the yarn behind, knit the stitch. Put the yarn in front, curl the stitch. Put the yarn behind, knit the stitch. Alright. So now we've done the first row of the pattern, and now I'm going to do the same thing again. And that's what you'll be doing when you knit your swatch or your scarf, with whatever odd number you'd like. Okay. Knit, purl. Knit, purl. Knit, purl. Knit, purl. Knit, purl. Oops. Knit. Alright. So we've got 2 rows down. Now I was thinking for the swatch, I would do, I'd probably do 11 rows for the swatch. It looks like about 3 rows is an inch. So I'm going to do 11 rows and it'll be a 4-inch swatch. So I'm going to knit and purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. The main thing to remember is to get the speed that I'm getting at, you hold it continental and work English or American. It's not just the speed, it's the accuracy. Now, there's nothing wrong with picking. I find personally for me, when I do pure continental, my knitting is loose. But that's just me. It may work for you to do continental and then do your yarn, knit and purl with picking instead of throwing. But I find what I like about the American version of knitting and purling is that it moves. Like, it actually moves off the needle. I find when I'm doing it continental, it's like I have to push it and then pull it off and all this stuff. And it's loose to boot. It's not tight. So I'm going to knit the swatch on camera. And I don't really have much to say. I don't. I'm trying to keep channel messages out of the tutorial videos because I know not everybody likes that kind of thing mixed with their tutorials. So if you like channel messages, you can watch any of my crafting videos where I'm chatting. So next week, I'm going to have a crochet tutorial, and I'll be doing it this way again because I tried doing it from the other angle and it was a disaster. It was even more difficult than what I did here, and it was like painful to watch back on camera. And I don't want anybody to feel pain when they're knitting or crocheting. And um, just know that using whatever your dominant hand is will make the process a lot more enjoyable. Don't let anybody tell you you can't knit a certain way in terms of handedness. Now, I talked about my preference for continental versus, my preference for holding it continental and knitting American or English style, but that's just my preferences. You'll find what works for you. I know people that love to knit continental. They really love knitting continental, but it turns out they're right-handed, and so their work is tighter than mine when I do it left-handed. When I do continental left-handed, it comes out really loose. So I don't know what that's about, but it might be because I grew up right-handed and then like became left-handed. I realized I was truly left-handed when I got older, and everything changed. And maybe I'll talk about that in the next knit and chat. Um, if you want to hear about that, about my left-handedness, um, in the crocheting chat that I'm doing, feel free to leave a comment below to let me know if you want to learn about left-handedness. I'll probably do that no matter whether anybody says anything or not. But yeah, I'll have in my crochet and like my crochet and chat, I'll have some channel messages and then I'll be chatting about something. And that's what I did last time, and that's what I'm going to do again. And I think that'll be a nice way to do something. Hopefully it'll help people who feel like they can't be left-handed for some reason. Um, See how fast I'm going and how like the yarn is just gliding over the needle. It doesn't. You don't have to push it. You don't have to pull it. You don't have to do any of that. That's what I like about this method of knitting, of like combining the two methods. It's a continental hold. This is the continental hold for some people. Some people also, like, when they continental hold, they put it over the pinky and they do all that and you're picking. But this is like, I hold it this way and then American style knitting and purling. And the fabric just moves. I don't have to push it. I don't have to pull it. It just glides over the needle. Now, I feel bad that I couldn't show you how to do everything from the other angle, because I know when you're left-handed, it's like I learned from people. I didn't learn mirror. I learned from watching a video of somebody showing it from the left-handed angle. And so the people who are learning mirror in this video are probably right-handed because it looks like I'm holding everything right-handed. But I haven't done right-handed knitting in a long time. So I hope that demonstration at the beginning was enough. it was really difficult to do it on the camera, like from the other angle, and it was excruciatingly bad. And the important thing to note is, like, this video I think is more for people who already know how to knit, but and purl, but maybe they're looking for an updated technique to get speed. So maybe like that's how I'm going to promote this one. I don't know. That may be how I'm going to label it, because I couldn't quite get it right the other way. Okay, let me see how many rows I have. I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, I need like 3 more rows. I need 3 more rows, I think. This is the 8th row. And I'll show you how to bind off. That's important. It's a standard bind off. I just knit. I bind off by knitting. And who knows, maybe I'll get my needle and weave in the ends too. I think I will. I'll have to get up and get that. I should have gotten that before. I'm gonna go get that now. So I'm going to put that down, and I'll be right back. I don't know what was on in the background. I think like somebody's watching like cable news or something. Probably MSNBC. All right. So I have my needle. This is the needle that I use. I use a metal needle. And this may be like a size 18 or 20 or something. Probably an 18. It's like a tapestry needle. You can get larger needles for yarn, but I like those. I like that size because it goes into everything a lot easier. Like I find like the larger needles kind of get stuck, especially if they're plastic. Yeah. So I've got about like 2 more rows left on this swatch. And you can see that it goes pretty fast. Now I know it's like 20 minutes in, but that's because I've been talking. And I showed you how to do everything beforehand. I feel terrible for anybody who's left-handed who tried to learn from that tutorial because it wasn't from the left-handed view. But I hope you understand what I was doing. And I'm trying to think of like other videos. I'm not affiliated with anybody, but I would say if you need to see the left-handed angle, well, there's like, I think there are books out there too. You can also learn from books. There are like books by Leisure Arts that have like the right-handed and left-handed view, and they teach you how to do continental and English style knitting. And it's good to like learn both kinds. It's good to learn both types. I think I'm going to do 1 more row, and then I think I'm going to bind off. It's good to learn both types of knitting to see which one you like better. And then you can decide whether, holding it one way and then doing it the other way, like I do it, is a good fit for you. I'm somebody who grew up right-handed and then ended up being left-handed. And so I needed something that would work for me with my brain kind of seeing things the way it sees things. It can really mess somebody up to be doing things with the wrong handedness growing up. And I'll talk about that more in my crocheting chat if you wish, but I'll probably be talking about it anyways, whether people want to hear it or not. Because Spirit is telling me somebody out there needs to hear it. Alright, let me count the rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we have one more row. And then I'm going to bind off. Because the 11th row will be like a bind off row. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll teach you how to bind off. And then I'll sew in the ends of... I'll teach you how to sew in the ends as well. Oh. Now, there's people who are crocheters and they're right-handed and they learn to knit continental because you hold the yarn in your left hand when you're doing things continental if you're right-handed. And so that works really well for people if they crochet to learn to knit continental, because you're already holding it with the hand that you hold the crochet in. If you're left-handed and you're crocheting, you hold the yarn in your right hand. So if I'm doing the continental stitch, I'd be holding the yarn in my right hand because I'm left-handed. And then if you're left-handed, you hold the yarn in your left hand for English style, and if you're right-handed, you hold the yarn in your right hand for English style. So basically, if you feel that your dominant hand is your best hand, I would go with the English style crochet, the English style knitting. The English style knitting. And that's what I feel about that. If you feel like your dominant hand is really going to do things better. Excuse me. Some people are truly ambidextrous and they can do both and they can learn both and it doesn't affect their brain or anything. But most people have a specific way of doing things. So that's why I'm recommending that. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to insert the empty needle into the needle with stitches, knit a stitch. Insert the empty needle into the needle with more stitches, knit a stitch, take the previously knitted stitch and go over the new knitted stitch. And now you have a bind off. So let's do that again. Knit a stitch, and then put previously knitted stitch over the newly knitted stitch. Do that again. You do that all the way to the end of the row. Okay? Okay. Get my scissors. I'm going to use these right-handed because these are right-handed scissors. I do better with left-handed scissors, but this is what I had right now. Okay. Now I will have an article on my website that is going to discuss the I'll probably have pictures and stuff of the swatch, and I'm going to have the pattern on the website, and I'll show the other scarves on the website. On my website, sketchwriterjess.com. And I will put a link to the article in the description box below. So now I'm going to show you how I sew in tails. I put the needle here and fold the yarn over and then pinch the yarn at the top. See, I'm pinching it. And then slide the needle eye over. I don't know if you can see that, but over the yarn. And then pull the yarn through. And then what I do is I go through so it's a little easier for me to show it right-handed now. But I tend to like edit with my right hand. Okay. And then what I do is I go back through. So I'll go through with my left hand. I'll try to just, it's easier to like get it done with my right hand. So that's one. Again, right-handed scissors. And then we're going to do the other one. So again, just fold it over, pinch, put the yarn through the eye of the needle, pull the yarn through. And then okay. Okay. I feel like those channel messages were about me. It was weird. The channel messages in my video. Some of them. Learning a new skill. Well, it's a new skill to be able to teach something like this on camera. I think I'm going to call this video Knit a Seed Stitch Swatch with Me. And then hopefully like people with right-handedness and left-handedness get some benefit from this. I didn't know what this was going to be like, and when I tried to tape it from the other angle, it really didn't work. So here's the swatch. It's like a 4-inch swatch. And you can see it's kind of stretchy, but it's got a lot of definition in it. And I'd say try both types of styles. Like learn from other videos and some books to see how you do, because this was just kind of like a refresher for people, I guess, who want to kind of like change how they do things a little bit with their knitting. And that's probably how I'm going to teach the crochet as well. I'm going to do it this way because this is how I know how to teach it. I really shouldn't apologize. It's, a lot of people probably think it's very easy to teach knitting and crocheting on camera. Well, now I see how much labor goes into it, and I never realized it was going to be like as difficult as it was. So at this point in time, I ask you, please don't forget, love is being remembered. You can like this video, you can subscribe to the channel, you can comment below, and you can also share the video. So, remember, I love you all, and I hope this video was helpful for you if you wanted to like update your knitting techniques. And that's what I've got. So take care, everyone. Jessica Burke Hensley signing off. Bye.